I recently met Nicole Hale on my first ever Abraham Hicks cruise. She is a lovely woman who actually started wearing bikinis and rocking them for the first time in her adult life in her 50s. We were seated together at a special dinner invited by a mutual friend, and we immediately hit it off. She's just so funny. It's definitely her sense of humor that drew me in, and her sense of fun. I knew immediately that I wanted to hang out with her on the cruise, and I did. We found ourselves on the dance floor many nights, although she usually lasted way longer than I did. That girl really, really loves to dance, let me tell you. So, the reason why I'm so excited to share this interview with you is because during that first meeting, that first dinner, which was at an amazing restaurant, by the way, on the ship called Le Petit, I learned that Nicole released 100 pounds 5 years ago and has kept it off since. Of course, I wanted to know more because, after all, she's into Abraham and the law of attraction, so I wanted to know the details. At that dinner, she told me that she lost the weight by getting happy. When she said that, I knew instinctively that she had a lot of yummy things to tell me, to tell us. So that, my friends, is what this episode is all about. How did Nicole get happy? And how did that happy lead to a 100-pound weight loss that she's kept off for over 5 years? And how did she get to the place where she is now at 57 years young, the healthiest, happiest, and fittest she's been in a very, very long time? By the way, there was some static in the interview that we couldn't get rid of, so I apologize in advance for that, but the content shines through. Hello, Nicole.
Hello, Rhonda Ryder. How are you?
I'm doing great. Really, really good. It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you since the
It,
cruise. Obviously, you're in Canada. I'm in North Carolina, but yeah, really great to see you.
it it was great. We had such a great time. Met so many awesome people. I got to meet you, which was very exciting. I'd heard your podcast a couple of times beforehand, so when I got to sit next to you at our petite chef dinner, it was very exciting, and we had lots of fun stuff to talk about. So I'm thrilled to be here.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes, I got to meet you. We had that dinner that Jill set up, and then we got to sit next to each other. Just, of course, no accidents. And come to find out that you have released 100 pounds by being happy.
Gone.
And I'm saying, you're my girl. I want to interview you. Well, not quite like that. I warmed up to it a little bit. Yes.
it was it was definitely the turning point to the happiness. The decision to be happy came before losing weight to be happy.
Mm.
um yeah, I was in a low place. I was in a very, very low place in my life, and I had struggled with, I think I have been an emotional eater for most of my life, and I up and down and up and down, and I would have originally called myself an expert on losing and gaining weight.
Mhm.
And I got to a point in my life. I had just turned, I was 51. So this is like 2016. And I just looked at myself, and I was, you know what, this is the point. Like, this is either going to be you from now on, or you can make a decision now. I really looked at it as this was a now or never moment.
Mhm.
And I decided in that moment that I I was I needed to take control of the path that I was on. And weight loss was a part of it. There were other things in my life that had to change, and by working on those, and changing that, and bringing myself up to that place, and sort of losing all of that, it was all part of the package. It was all part of the package, for
Yeah.
sure. And so I've lost 100 pounds in total. I actually hit my 100-pound um, number about just a few months ago. And it's funny because when I started this journey, yes, you track and you track. And then I got to a point where I didn't even remember where I started. And I knew that I had lost, and I kind of had these numbers in my head, but it wasn't my focus. It wasn't like I was here and now I'm here and now I'm here and I'm going here. It's like I'm here, and I want to keep going there. And I really lost. It's kind of that thing where you ask your parents how old they are, and they're like, "Oh, I can't remember." It's like, how can you not remember how old you are? It's like it's so important. I really did. And then I was cleaning some stuff up, and I was going through an old notebook, and I found this old notebook, and it was like a journal from when I first started, and it had my starting weight. And I was like, whoa, I've lost 100 pounds. And it was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. It's a big goal for sure. But my proudest thing, I think, what I love the most is that I have maintained this. Like, this is 2016, so we're going on 6 years, and it took me a year. I would say the bulk of what I lost was 80 pounds. And then I played, the other, and then a 10, and then, played in the 10 and the up the 5 and down, as played around it. But I was just really happy where I was, and it didn't matter anymore. And yeah, so that was, it was the fact that I am in this place now where I'm loving myself. I'm loving my life. I am just so happy. And that's just becomes a part of it, of how good you feel in yourself.
Yeah. So definitely I have some follow-up questions, and I just love everything that you're saying. So I want to know, when did you discover Abraham Hicks, and what part did the teachings of Abraham Hicks play in this, if any? I think you mentioned it to me before. So yeah, I just like to know the mindset, what got you to that place where you decided, okay, is this going to be me for the rest of my life, or am I going to make a change? And what supported you? What gave you the idea that, it's about being happy first? So where did you get that idea? Was it from the teachings of Abraham, or is it just something you happened to hang around some really cool people that like teach the law of attraction? Like, how did that all unfold? Like, what was your thinking and your mindset?
I think, well, first of all, the first part of your, coming to the Abraham Hicks, I am a person who has been circling for a long, long time, and sometimes without even realizing it. I have a very good friend who I've known for almost 20 years, who you have interviewed on this show, Zara Mahoon. She has written a number of books, and she is, very, front and forward in all of this. And I've known her for 20 years. I've known her since she started on her journey. And so I was one of those people at the beginning of her journey that she was like handing books to. And I really believe that you come to what you need and what you want. It comes to you at the time that you need it. And at that time, I kind of looked at it. I was open to it, but it didn't really, I was like, okay, I didn't really embrace it as part of my life. But it's funny that Zara, over the years, whenever I got to a point where I really needed to reach out in that capacity, Zara was my go-to person. Like, when I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do now, I have to phone Zara. That was always so she was I always had kind of that link to it. And then I am a happy person. Like, if I was going to describe myself, and when you feel yourself slipping down that scale, and you're going down that emotional scale, and it's the clawing back up. It's those little steps. It's like, well, I am here. What am I going to do to get me to here, to get me to here, to get me to here? And I just started taking those little steps. And the big catalyst, sure, for the weight loss was to make big changes in my life. Like, for me, it meant leaving my marriage. And, I'm not like promoting it for him, but for me, it was time. It was time. And that's a huge leap to take. And so that little lighten, that lightens you that little bit. So you've made that decision here. And so I'm that little bit lightened here. And what else can I do? What is the positive thing I can look at? Like, what can I do? What do you want to say?
I want to say you lose about 200 pounds right there.
That's that joke.
Sorry,
I lost 200 pounds of unwanted fat. Yeah.
I just couldn't resist that. Okay.
But it's almost like you feeling your cork start to float, right? And it gives you that sort of feeling that, okay, I'm going to go for the next step, and I'm going to go for the next step. And then I started seeking out those things that I knew were going to make me feel good and feel better. And things like exercising, and just that that was belief, like I think the first belief I really lined up with was that this is my now or never moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is my now or never moment. And I lined up with that. And at first, like, it was like I did everything just to get me started. I think I bought this product that was called like the non-gastric bypass or something. And it was like this disgusting gel stuff, and you ate it and it like filled your belly so you weren't hungry. For the first 10, 15 pounds, that's what I did. Mm-hmm. And I believed that I needed something to get me on that. And I'm a big believer in the beliefs. Like, it's your beliefs that get in your way, that keep you out of the vortex, that put you to the other end there, and you back and forth. And it's lining up with those beliefs and that's what really got me through a lot of it, is lining up with those beliefs. And that's what keeps me now. That's what keeps me maintaining for almost like 5 years.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like, yeah, and I definitely want to talk about beliefs and the power of beliefs and all of that. But it sounds like you were just dabbling, putting your toe in the water with the teaching of Abraham, and through Zara Mahoon, she's your friend, your buddy, and she's a law of attraction teacher and understands these principles. So how lucky for you, what a wonderful manifestation to create a friend like that who you could talk to. And then, so it sounds like when you had your moment, like, this is my now and never moment, that you weren't per se really into the law of attraction so much, but you gradually got more and more into it. Because I know you went to the Abraham cruise recently in March. Mm-hmm. Eastern Caribbean, where I met you, and we were dancing a lot and having a lot of fun and hanging out. And so I know you're into Abraham. So, like, how did that happen, and did it just like gradually you got more and more interested in it? And maybe you're not as into it, as like
No, I am. It is my lifestyle. It is my lifestyle. I think that I was looking for ways I was open for ways to feel better. I was open to finding the path, and that path of least resistance kept opening up to me. And sometimes I saw it, and sometimes I was a little slower to come to it. There's a funny, like, I know Zara talks sometimes, she tells people about, a few years ago when I had this retreat at my house, and blah, 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 Nicole was there. And I'm like, yeah, I was. And I remember at the time, I didn't even really know what it was, but I went and I met these people, and I felt really good. And at the time, there were some messages I was ready for, and there were some things I wasn't totally ready for. And I had to, I came around for that. But the biggest part of my success in everything now is that, I don't just go on a cruise or, do this and that. This is my life. Like, my life starts when I lay in bed in the morning and I pre-pave my day, and I do my little morning affirmation, and I set my intention for my day. I get in my car and I listen to Abraham and Esther on the way to, I don't listen to the news or,
Mm-hmm.
I love music, I love to dance, but I do that in the car, and I get in the car, and I'm at this place in my life now, and you're never always here, and life comes at you, and all these things happen, and you have these challenges, but I'm seeing them, like I'm looking at them almost from an academic point of view. It's like, whoa, this is how, whoa, look how I just responded. Look how that turned out. And I can really, and it's like fun. It's fun now. And I do take that into my food choices and how I maintain my health and my body. One of the big changes that I make now, and I'm like, it was my birthday on Sunday. I'm 57 years old.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I feel fab. Like I'm thinking, okay, like, well, maybe for the next 30 years I'll do something maybe. I'm like, someone said, oh, 39 again. I'm like, no, I am like the healthiest. I'm the happiest. I'm the fittest I have been in years. I totally own it, and I totally love it. Absolutely. But we have this, I find, like, because I go to workouts and like groups of people, and women, we really beat up on ourselves. Like we almost treat our body like an enemy. And I don't do that. I don't do that. I was at a thing the other day, and they're like, oh yeah, look, and sure, you know what? But I'm not going to, I'm going to celebrate my body. Absolutely, there's parts of my body that would be, but my body does so much awesome stuff for me. Now, unlike Jill Hofer, I did not go on the Abraham cruise and not gain a pound. And I gained, I actually love telling this, because I'll tell you what I did. I kind of, I'd been very careful going up because I knew I was going to be wearing a bathing suit, and I started wearing bikinis in my 50s. And I knew it was going to be, kind of thing. But so I had, got myself to a place where I felt comfortable in a bikini, and the dresses I was going to wear were going to feel good and everything. And then, I was all up to the week before my cruise. And so, yeah, I had a few, extra things. And in my mind, because I'm still there, it's like, oh yeah, but this is probably not the best for you. And I went, and I still have those beliefs, but I then turn them around. It's like, you know what? For my week before, my 2 weeks of holiday, because I did the cruise and then I did a week in Florida, and then I came back for 2 weeks and all that, I gained 9 pounds. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, I only gained 9 pounds. And then I lost 5 pounds in 5 days.
Wow.
Because I'm just like, that's okay. I know what to do. I do this. My body knows what to do. I do this. And so I just went right back into what I believe that I need to do on a daily basis to support my life, my body, the clothes that I want to wear, and all of that. And I also believe that exercise is a part of that. And I just put myself back into that mindset, and I'm back in that zone, vortex, whatever. And you feel it. It feels awesome. So yeah. I celebrated those 9 pounds. I celebrated the 5 pounds, and like the 4 is like, it's nothing. It's cakewalk.
Yeah. So I'm not going to talk over you too much. I'm going to wait because there's a little bit of echo when I talk over you. So when you stop, then I'll say something.
Okay.
But
good luck.
Good luck with that. Good luck with
that.
I won't be saying.
Just raise your hand if you want to say something.
I'll raise my hand because you warned me. You warned me. I do talk a lot. So that's a perfect podcast guest. You don't want someone who doesn't talk. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll raise my hand. So, yeah. I think it's so much of, like, when you come back from a cruise, like I came back from the cruise, I'm sure I gained a little bit of weight, but I didn't weigh myself. But it's that whole thing of not beating yourself up over. That's the whole key right there, because I know for me, if I would have come back and say, oh, my pants are a little bit tighter, these brand new pants that I bought before the cruise, now they're a little bit tight on the waist. And now if I would like beat myself up over that, then
Mhm.
I would continue to go down, spiral
That's what you're
downward.
focusing on.
Right, exactly. And
Yep.
then so you're soothing yourself, you were telling yourself that this is no big deal. I went on a cruise and oh, so what? I gained 9 pounds. I know what to do. I love my body. So it's really, we always talk about self-love and body love, and because I don't know about it, it sounds like you have a similar story where, like, for me it was just like that constant, like, beating myself up over my food choices, over my um oh, I didn't exercise. So that would you talk to your friend that way? No, would you
Mm-mm,
talk to a friend
mm-mm,
that way?
mm-mm.
Yeah.
And you have to, and it has to be like, like for me with I like to exercise. And it's like, I never thought I'd be one of those people. It's like I used to hate people, like, people go, oh, I didn't exercise and I feel really crappy, and I mean, like, no, it's like, but now I'm one of those people, and it's fun. But you can't, like, sometimes I'll come home and I really don't feel like going, like I'm tired, and then it's like, so where is my path of least resistance here? Am I going to feel better if I just go and then I'll feel better after? Or am I just this day right now? Because every day is a new day. We only always start right. I can start from right now. Nothing else matters. This is just
Yep.
right now. So maybe right now, no, tonight really isn't going to be, I'm going to get more value for myself of maybe just having an early night and, just taking it easy. And it's setting, and then it's lining up with that. It's like setting that intention, and then you line up with it. So you're just not like, no, I'm not going to go to the gym, and then you sit on the couch going, oh god, I should have gone, oh, I'm not going to make this go. That has just defeated the whole purpose. It has defeated the whole purpose. And it's that, yeah, it is like being your own best friend.
Yeah.
Yes, Rhonda Ryder, would you have something you'd like to say?
Yes, I would like to say something. Um, yeah, so just last night, I think I was wanting to take a walk and take my daily walk, and I just wasn't feeling it. Same thing. Just being easy on myself, because even law of attraction is like saying, Abraham's saying, if you do these things, if you do these exercises and you're like in a bad mood when you're doing it, if you're in a low vibration when you're doing it and you're forcing yourself to do it, you're really
Mhm.
not doing yourself that much of a favor, like you just said.
No.
So it's better to either line up with you going, if you're going to do something, then line up with it, or
Yep.
just like follow your intuition and trust yourself. Trust yourself.
Yes. Love yourself. Love
Hmm.
yourself. Love, if you have to do that, then it's like, you know what? Yeah, but I walked yesterday and I'm going to walk tomorrow. And it's not like not going tonight, I'm never going to walk again. It's all going to happen. Absolutely. I have this, when I came back from the cruise, I was talking to someone, and I had said something like, I said, yeah, I was on that cruise and I ate with abandon, and now I'm going to eat with purpose. And I thought, kind of like that. It's like sometimes, like it's my birthday, I'm just going to eat with abandon and love the whole thing. But I know that then I can line back up, and I can do, because I'm going with what feels good, and it's my, yeah,
Yeah.
it's I set that intention, and then it's easy to follow that up, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. So I have to admit, because I hadn't been to a buffet in about 2 years, right? Since the pandemic.
Hmm. Yeah.
And when I thought about going on the cruise, I really didn't think about, I mean, I thought about the food. Okay, I thought about the food a little bit, like, oh, well, that's going to be interesting. But I really didn't, I really was thinking about the friends that I was going to make and the people I was going to
Hmm.
make. But when that first day, when I walked into that room, that, I don't know what we call it, the cafeteria. I called it the cafeteria, but it's not. It's a restaurant, right?
Like the buffet, yeah, the buffet
But
restaurant, yeah.
but when I walked in there, because I hadn't been to a buffet in years, where you could just like, there's all these cakes and all these, just like, I was like, oh my God. What the hell am I gonna do? I felt for like a minute, I was like, I I just felt like I just wanted to go and eat everything. And I was terrified. Like for a few moments I was like terrified. I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't want to be around this like unlimited buffet for 7 days." And then and then I got myself together. I got in alignment. I did what I had to do, but and then I just started like being more relaxed. And then after a few days, you're like,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like, oh well, this is just not. It's there, and you're used to it. Just used to, and just like appreciating it.
yeah,
Like I love French toast, and and this effect that I didn't have to cook anything, because
yeah,
I'm still cooking, even though because my dad was with us, so I'm still
hmm
cooking his meals, like 1 or 2 meals a day, and just to go there and not cook days and like have French toast almost every morning. I was like, oh my God, I am just in heaven.
And the fact that you loved it and you ate it with just so much appreciation, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's 7 days. You know what to do, and you've been given this beautiful gift of French toast that someone else made for you. Oh my God, you love it. You love it.
Yeah.
You love it because that's yeah, you have so much in the bank of what you know to do and what you're doing and what you've done and where you are and how you think that those little things you can't they're just those are little gifts. You have to enjoy them. Like
Yeah.
I never say never about anything. It's like, well, I could never do that. That's why I don't like really restrictive things or anything. I don't like those nevers, never, never, never. There's really there's maybe one or two nevers on my list, and really not for any reason because I think just because I don't like them and I don't think they're good for you, but that's my belief, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, yeah. And I'll and you make it like a like my birthday. It's like one of my it's my birthday. Like I'm gonna have this. Like Christmas. That's what I love about holidays. It's like for me, like, my family and that. I love Christmas because it's always the same. It's like you do the same thing, you go to the same place, you eat the same food, and it's like it's that tradition and I would never not have it.
Yeah.
Never not have it. Yeah.
Well,
It's
yeah, the restrictions, yeah, we talk a lot about that. The deprivation and the restriction often backfires on a lot of people. I mean,
Mhm.
some people like some structure and that's great, but if you feel like it's all about what feels right to you. If
Yeah,
that
yeah.
deprivation feels like deprivation, feels like restriction, I know for me it backfires, and it's like I have this other voice in my head that says, if I say something like, okay, we're not going to have any bread for the next 3 weeks. We're not going to have, and then it's like this voice goes, oh yeah,
And I like bread. You're gonna be bread.
watch me, you
Yeah,
watch me.
watch me. I can do the bread. Oh, absolutely,
I'm gonna go
absolutely.
nuts with it's like, so for me, it just, for whatever reason, it doesn't work.
Mhm,
I've dieted, of course, a million times, dieting since I'm 13 years old. So yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't like that. It doesn't feel good. But
mhm.
I've interviewed people who are diehard Abraham followers and a law of attraction, and they have some structure and they like it. And it's not like they don't view it as deprivation. They're just
Yeah,
like, okay, I want to eat, I want to eat this and for breakfast, and I want to have some protein, and they have a little bit more structure.
yep.
But I find that over the years, like doing this work, I'm developing my own kind of structure, like I don't, I like stopping usually at 7 o'clock or 7:30. Like that's done.
Mhm.
I'm done for, I have my dinner and that's it. I'm done. I like that. My body likes that.
And those are your beliefs that you're lined up with, that you're lined up. And it's funny because when people find out and they say, "Oh, you've lost 100 pounds," like, how did you do it? I was like, there isn't a magical there. It's really eating less and moving more, and it's getting to yourself to that place. And so I for me, my structure, like I like Weight Watchers. I like Weight Watchers when I'm feeling like I need to, like I'm in a little, like I'm, I'm the those pants that I love. I'm not enjoying wearing them as much as I was enjoying wearing them, and and I got this thing in next month, and I envision myself in outfits. It's like I want that outfit with that top and those boots and those earrings, and I'm just, I see that, and so that's what I want to do. And I like it in that what it does for me is it focuses me on what I'm eating. It makes me pay attention to what I'm eating. And for me, that's all I need now. And so you just keep track because you're like, oh well, yeah, maybe I could have this. So I haven't. And it's like, no, I'm going to keep track. And for that's my structure that works. And I like it because nothing is off the table. Nothing is off the table. I can have absolutely anything that I want in moderation, and I just mindful. It's like that mindfulness. It's that mindful eating. And I think when you're and that even goes to the part that when you're actually eating is to enjoy that eating, like eat it. And I've heard Abraham, and that's like talking about Esther going, it's like we're just like, this is so delicious, and it's true. Like you'll make, and I'll like take it, I'll tell people I just made this awesome food and it was so good, and I live on my own, and I'm sitting here going, this is so good.
I love it. If you've built up momentum over the years or even decades struggling with negative emotions and find yourself wanting to feel better about all of it, help is on the way. My private coaching sessions are based on the law of attraction. I also use a calibrating method to help you move up the vibrational scale on any topic that's bothering you. Abraham Hicks frequently talks about calibration as a useful tool to help us improve our experience of life. Many people work with me because they want to release pounds, accept their current bodies, experience more health and vitality, or discover food freedom, or all of the above. That being said, we often wind up talking about and calibrating many different subjects and emotions because, as you know, everything is connected. If you'd like to schedule an initial session or coaching package with me, please go to deliciousalignment.com/coaching. I have an incredible offer for you there. Are you a visual learner? If you are, you will enjoy the video version of my book, Delicious Alignment: How 25 Women Learn to Love and Transform Their Bodies Using Abraham Hicks and the Law of Attraction. This online course includes video lessons for 5 weeks, covering the 5-step program from my book. These 5 steps help you learn how to love your body, your food, and your life. The 5 steps are: Step 1, get off the scale and get in alignment. Step 2, start a love affair with your body. Step 3, create a new story. Step 4, make friends with food. And Step 5, build momentum toward the body and life you want. There are 20 videos in total, and the course also includes the audios and transcripts of part 1 of my book, plus journal exercises to help you integrate the material. This course is a one-time payment of only $27 and is available at that price for only a few more weeks. Celebrating food is like, in my book, it's such an important part of it, celebrating the food and learning how to just really enjoy and savor every bite. And I talk about this a lot too, when when I allow myself to get hungry, that's when I really enjoy. Because in the past, I don't even think I remembered what being, didn't allow myself to get hungry. I had this fear of being hungry, I think. I don't know. It's just like not allowing myself to get hungry or something. But now it's like just allowing myself, like, oh, okay, I'm listening to my body more and more. And it's like, okay, it's time to eat. I'm really hungry. And then food just tastes so amazing. when you're hungry.
What did we talk about? I was saying how, we eat to nourish our bodies and delight our taste buds.
Hmm.
And when you think about like the abundance, like us in this part of the world where we live, the lifestyles that we have anything we want at our fingertips. Like, oh, like to the point that you're sometimes like, I don't know, what do you want to eat? I don't know why. What do you want to eat? I don't like, just we have so much. So it's just enjoy. Like right now, I am so into mangoes. And that started on the cruise, like having that, and then I was in Florida and I was having like mangoes and passion fruit. I love tropical fruits.
Mm.
And so mangoes are like all like really good price at the store. And I go buy like 4 mangoes and I love it. And I just eat mango, and it's just, oh, it's so, so good. And yeah, like relish it. I cut it and I lean over the sink and I just like chew on that big seed and it's like, oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm looking over at the fridge now. So I
If
need to
if
look
you're
there.
listening to the podcast, she's
I'm like, oh yeah, oh yes,
eating
I'm
a mango and
thinking
it's
about it.
all over her. It's just you
Yeah,
can't eat it in a very
no,
delicate way.
no,
It's just got to
no.
go all over your face. Yeah, yeah,
Mangoes messy, and it's just yeah, and we are so so lucky that we have that. Whatever takes our fat, we have that access to that, and that is something just to be celebrated and appreciated. And yeah, I love that. I love that.
yeah. I think that's so important, that appreciation and celebration, and I think
Mhm.
it immediately takes you out of that place where you're judging your food. Well, if you can't do both at the same time. You can't celebrate and appreciate your food and judge it and make yourself wrong about what you just ate at the same time. So if you take on that practice of celebrating and appreciating your food, that really
Mhm.
solves a lot of
Mhm.
things. A lot, it
Mhm.
helps turn those other counterproductive behaviors around rather quickly if you start to just like, well, if I'm just going to appreciate, what do I appreciate about this food? Well, think about the people that made it, the people that
Mhm.
gathered the food, to harvested the food to begin with and brought it. When you think about the cruise ship, I watched a documentary about all the back end stuff, how every
Yeah. Yeah.
once they come back into port and everything that goes on and all the food that they bring, and then everybody has to, like, tons and tons and tons of food, and then everybody has to cook it, just like finding things to appreciate about it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
freeing.
Yes, and just being in that moment of the food, and and it's not just it's like it's not that mindless eating. It's not that, because that's where we run into problems, right? And it's like really aware of what we're doing,
Yeah.
really aware.
And something you said before, I've been realizing lately that in the past, and maybe even still now, it's a trigger word for me. Like, you said, well, I eat in moderation. And sometimes I still have that old thinking where it goes, you know, that wasn't in moderation. What you just did was not in moderation, like, to myself,
Yes.
And, I-
Okay. Okay.
and I'm wondering, people, and do you still have those moments or no? Like, where and what would you say to people who might have those moments still where they're like, well, that was, you just, really ate, they're still binge eating,
You ate
or
the whole.
they're,
Hey, I'm one of those people that I don't believe that if there's some people and they like get a chocolate bar and they eat half and they put the other half in the fridge. I still don't get that.
I love it.
That's true. I don't understand those people. I'm
Who
just
are
like,
these
no.
people?
I remember my ex-husband would always say, "Didn't I have a chocolate in the fridge?" I'm like, "Listen, man, you put that in the fridge. Like, it's
Yeah,
just
what? Yeah, no.
it's okay." So, all right, yeah, no, I understand what you mean, and I think with the word, okay, so the word moderate. So for me, it's eating smaller amounts. It's eating what I for me, in my belief, in my mind, that I can eat whatever I want, but it's still an amount, right? And I will definitely, like, I think there's space for that. I think there's space for, a girls' night where there's a couple of empty wine bottles and all the bags of chips are done, and you're not, and you loved it. You had great friends, great company, great. So the moderation is that we don't do that every day. It's something that we do. The moderation is how often we do it, because I don't, when I'm there on a girls' weekend or I'm hanging out with her, it's like something like that. I'm not counting anything. I'm not holding myself back.
Yeah, I think for me the turning point was I did I used to be a binge eater, and then I would really like beat myself up emotionally
Hmm.
mentally the next day and even the week, or it could be a long time where I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe I did that. And this was years ago, and then that turning point for me was when oh, okay, just being kinder and softer, to
Hmm.
myself, in my learning how to soothe myself. And then, so that behavior just kind of went away over time, because now
Yes.
I wasn't saying all these nasty things to myself.
And it wasn't a bad, when you did sort of go outside of the bounds of what you may want to normally do on a daily basis, it wasn't a bad thing. It
Yeah,
wasn't
right
a bad
now when
thing.
it happened,
Yeah.
it happened. It
Yeah.
not like a binge, but like, oh my god, I just ate that whole thing, a whole bunch of chips, and just like feeling that twinge, like, oh, is it, and like, oh no no, just like you get new habits of how to soothe yourself,
Hmm.
and how to not make it be a big deal. I'll say, this food is blessed to my body. While I'm eating something, this everything I eat is, nourishes me. Whatever it is, you learn things to say that feel really good to you, and my body knows
Yes.
what to do with this food.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I love that you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, nobody shouldn't say that, like in moderation. It's just like certain words are triggers to certain people, and you just like
Yeah.
learning how to look at these words differently. How to soothe yourself is the key. How to
Hmm.
No big deal.
Yes.
Like, that's what I keep hearing from you, is like, it's no big deal.
It's no big deal. We start from this moment right here. Anything that we did, and we have from this moment forward to do those things that, and I think, like when I have those times where, you know the girls over, I'm high on the emotional scale when I'm doing that. Like, I'm doing those from a happy place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing that from a happy place. And I think what I have, the work that I have done, is to not do those things from a lower place, that I'm trying to make it to bring me up to a happy place, because that's not the way to do it. And that's sort of the conquering of those food and those triggers for me was.
Yes, really, really good point. Is that where your vibration is when you're
Hmm.
eating food? I was just having on a coaching session today with someone, and saying, we're talking about that, how she wants to eat more nutritious stuff, and she's unhappy with herself because when she eats a lot of, quote unquote junk food, her words. And realizing, we're having a conversation, letting her know that the vibration that you have when you're eating quote unquote healthy food, if that's a low vibe, then that food isn't necessarily um, doing the best
Hmm.
things for your body.
Hmm.
It's the vibration that matters more than the
Yes.
actual food. Like, your vibe. This is in my book as well, from a quote from Abraham, that the vibration is trumps the actual nutrition nutrients of the food, which blows my mind.
And the other side to that too is that the higher up the emotional scale and the higher vibration that you're at, you're already going to reach for things that are going to make you feel and keep you up there. Like I know that if I go into the supermarket and I'm feeling good and I go in there and it makes me, and I walk down and I'm like, I love Miss Vicky's chips. I don't buy them. Like I don't need, and it makes me feel good. And it makes me feel good that I didn't buy them. And sometimes I'll go in there and it's like I have a specific purpose and I'm gonna buy them. And it's that when you're already up there and and you can use other things to get you there. Like for me, sometimes it's like I said, it's like how it's maybe what I've done or where I'm going or that I've created this sort of little thing that I'm going to this thing next month and this is what I want to wear and I'm going to look so good in this and so this I'm up here and I just walk past all that stuff and boy, I feel great. And I do. And I do. And sometimes I want it. And that's okay too.
Do you think that creating these, because you use the words creating this event,
Mhm.
I think about that often as well. Like I've realized that when I have an event like or a vacation planned or
Yeah.
like I'm supposed to go to a wedding in June and I'm going to Colorado to see my son on Monday.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, and or like going on the cruise or going on
Mhm.
another thing where you're going to see friends. For me, that it really does. I like creating, to use your words,
Mhm.
these events because I enjoy that whole thing like you're talking about, like
Mhm.
planning, like, oh, what am I going to wear? What are my outfits? Or, and it does give me the inspiration uh, to exercise. I just
Mhm.
want to go put it out there and say it.
You use the visualization to see yourself there. You visualize, I'm getting off the plane and I am meeting my son and so you're using that visualization to bring yourself up the emotional scale and to feel and to feel that feeling of how good you feel in that moment.
Yeah.
And then and that's what you can use to bring you up there. And it's like, so then when you are sort of, oh hey, I've got to got whatever, what might come up, which in the past might be something, oh hey, you know what, I'm going to grab one of those. You're like, no, I can feel that feeling of how good I'm going to feel in that dress when I get off that. And I do use those tricks. I use that for
Yeah.
myself all the time. And it's not anything else. It's the feeling. It's the feeling first. You get that
Yes.
feeling first. And once you've got that feeling and you're up there, you are, and I've really kind of looked at it that like when I'm up there and I'm in there and I'm like, I'm going to the gym and I'm making this and I'm doing this and I'm thinking, I'm like in the vortex, like I'm in the zone. You want to call it the zone or whatever you want to call it there, and it just keeps it just keeps feeding. And yeah, if I fall a little bit, it's that much easier just to bounce right back up there because it feels so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I have been thinking that really planning these getaways is a wonderful way for me uh, to just like keep high vibing because you
Yeah.
have something to look forward to.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
constantly, I mean, I work at home, I work by myself mostly, I'm on coaching calls, but my husband's here, he works at home also. But it's not like I'm out and seeing all these people. It's it's virtual, and so I have these little getaways to look forward to, and then it's like I bought this blue dress that we had that cocktail party on the
Mhm.
cruise, and I was
I have
like,
a great picture. You look
I
awesome.
love that. I'm like, oh my God, I love that dress, and so just got me some, like you said, using it as a visualization,
Mhm,
thinking
mhm.
in your mind, like looking forward to that event, looking forward to wearing that outfit. And it's just it's so fun because it's almost like I'm a child, like learning this all over again because,
Mhm.
for a big chunk of my life, it was just like, oh my God, I don't want anybody to see me, you know?
Mhm. Yep.
And yeah. And
And
so this
and
is like a
yeah,
child again,
yeah,
getting
yeah.
excited about wearing a
And
dress.
celebrate them.
Yeah.
Celebrate it. You know what? What one thing that was really awesome. So when I on the way to the cruise, so I flew down to Fort Lauderdale, and I got on the plane and I sat in the seat and I picked up the seat belt and I just clipped it. And then I thought, I I can remember when I would fly and I would sit down in the seat and I'd get the seatbelt and I would pull it to the very, very biggest way that you could pull it. And then I would get it done up. And then I would put my shirt over it so no one could see. And then as soon as you could take that seatbelt off, oh my God, I had that seatbelt off. I had like this much extra seatbelt, like laying on. I took a picture. I took a picture, and it was like, and so you use those as like your little anchors sometimes, and because it's the feeling, right? It's like how I felt when that happened was just made me feel so good. And so if I'm on that, I use that, like, think about that, like use those, like those little thought anchors that bring you up. It's all about the emotion. It's coming up. It's like it's bringing yourself up, because once you're up, it's I don't want to say a piece of cake again.
Just we could just zoom
It's a
out.
cakewalk. It's a piece of cake. It's a chocolate bar and a fish. No, but it's like it's easy. It's actually becomes easy. And you start to have these little things where you're like, I am this, I have learned so much. I have come so far. I am this new person. I
Mhm.
am this new person that's just like getting better every day. I'm so
And
excited for you to go see your boy.
oh my God, my son, yeah. I am so
Mhm.
excited. On Monday we fly out. My daughter's coming with me, so the three of us will be together.
Yeah.
My husband will be here, but taking care of my dad. So I'm very grateful that he's doing that, um, and that I get to go.
Yeah, yeah. No,
uh,
that's awesome.
yeah. So one thing I wanted to say to anyone who's listening who is not there, I was like, yeah, well, I still have to extend the seatbelt out to the furthest point, or I still don't want anybody to see me. I'm still hiding in my house. And, you know, like Nicole was saying, you start where you are, and it's just a gradual thing. So, what would you say to someone who's feeling that way?
Even the fact that you just listened to this is you are that much closer. You are that much, you are one step beyond where you were yesterday,
Hmm.
right? The fact that you're listening to this, you're already putting your mindset into this. And yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey. It's not, and I find sometimes, and when I hear, like Abraham talking, that we kind of get this idea that we always have to be here, we have to be here, we're striving for here, and we have to be here, and we don't want to fall down here. That's not what it is at all. It's not what it is at all. And the fact that you're here and you're listening to this and you're doing this and they subscribe to you, they're on the path. They're better than they were the day before or the day before that, because they've already started to make that decision, and they've already started to work on those beliefs, that the belief that I need something else here that I'm going to go towards. And it's all, like, man, like 10 years ago, if I thought that I would be this person sitting here, and I know it's already people, and it's when you're, but it's you only have from this point forward, and you're already making the right decisions. Like, yay, like, go, go. It's awesome. It's awesome. And when there's nothing else that you can appreciate, like, lay in your bed and appreciate that your heart's beating and you don't have to like do it yourself, and your blood is circulating and you can see and you can hear, and or anything like that. That's you know what, start with those little things and then take those little, hey, you know what, I did this extra today and I did that extra today. I'm going to Zumba tonight. When I started Zumba, I thought I was going to die. I I spent the whole class watching the clock. Like I was like, this is like I'm like, is there a defib machine in the foyer? 'Cause I'm like, I am going to die. And I I don't know. I go to Zumba now, and I am like so bouncy before the music even starts. I'm like, I got the I am so ripped roaring ready to go, and it's like you, it's you become it's you find that joy. Yeah, I know. Put your hand up. Sorry.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm getting an echo. Apologize about the sound today, guys. I don't think that we'll be able to cut that out. Anyway, so Zumba, I love Zumba, but there's so many steps that I just can't get. I look like such a nerd in there. But it is one, I love to dance and all of that, but there's so many like certain steps that I just,
I'm of the opinion that as long as you're moving, you're getting an exercise. The thing I don't like about this is like just get it and then they change. And I'm like, damn, you gotta figure out the other thing. I don't go enough to know. Like I go once a week, and a lot of the people, they're doing it 3-4 times a week. And I figure if I'm moving and I'm sweating, I'm getting it. And I follow the teacher like to the thing. And I remember when she's like this and then she's this, and I wave and it's like, oh shoot, she's waving at someone coming in the room. But I'm just like
yeah. So I want to go back to the thing that we're talking about. Uh, if you're in a place where, well, I'm not there yet, I'm just not
Mhm,
feeling great yet, then again, like Nicole was saying, finding something to appreciate. It doesn't have to be about yourself. It doesn't have to be about your life. It could be something like, your puppy dog or your
mhm,
grandchild or your child or anything. Just find something that feels good to think about, anything at all. And that is the whole secret right there. What can help me feel a little bit better right now and right now? And because
mhm,
alignment is the number one thing. So you want to start practicing alignment, having these more and more and bigger spans of time when you're in alignment. We all go in and out of alignment. So we can't be in alignment all the time. We can't, like Nicole said, we're not going to be up high, the high vibration all the time. But even if you're at a low vibration right now, you can begin to just start asking the questions. What actually would make me feel better right now? Maybe it would be to take a walk. Maybe it would be to watch a comedy. Maybe it would be, to play with your niece or nephew. Just find something that you get some joy out of, some pleasure out of. And
mhm,
then the more you keep looking for that, it just starts to grow. And eventually you'll be able to look at yourself and say, well, I appreciate my hair, or I appreciate my teeth, or do you find certain things you appreciate about your body? And just like
mhm,
start practicing, get my book, start practicing soothing yourself when when you're thinking negatively about yourself or judging your food choices. Start practicing, like Nicole said, like she started just saying things like, well, that's no big deal, that's no big deal, whatever about her food choices. And her food choices actually began to, sounds like you've been craving, quote unquote healthier and healthier foods. I mean, that's what
mhm,
happens to us. We start
mhm.
craving the mangoes and the salads, and wanting that yummy stuff. I mean, I love broccoli. I just love broccoli. I want to put broccoli in it. Put broccoli in it. Yeah, just throw a lot of
Yep,
broccoli in it.
yep. And then and enjoy your, and like you said, bring yourself up and enjoy the other stuff that makes you happy as well from that higher place. Instagram cat and dog videos. Oh my God. You can get stuck in those and they're hilarious and you stop focusing on anything else. And just laugh.
Perfect place to start.
All you need to do. All you need to do. And for me, I tell you, listening to I get in my car and I put my phone on the thing and I hit YouTube and I just Abraham Hicks and whatever comes my way. And I listen to it every day, every single day, every day. And then I have my other things that I do it is my life. I love Zara has this wonderful, wonderful analogy where she talks about how, you know, if you're doing you learn karate and you do your white belt and okay, I apologize, I don't know the order of the belts, and your yellow and your orange and your brown or whatever. Just and when you get to your black belt and you don't just get there and it's like, okay, I'm done. Then you just keep doing it to perfect it and to hone it and to you continue, you never stop, even when you get to a certain point. Like it becomes who you are. It becomes who you are. Yeah.
It's an unfolding. It's an unfolding that never ends. It just because we're eternal and the expansion is eternal. So you're never going to get it done, and you're never going to, get to the exactly to because there's always more. There's always more.
So you might as well have fun where you are, right?
That's right. You might as well have fun.
You might as well have fun. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Nicole. This has been fun. Speaking of fun, of course, I knew it was going to be fun talking to you. And it was. It really
is. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. Thank you. Here are the takeaways from this interview. 1. Stop treating your body like the enemy. Instead, find reasons to appreciate your body. Think of all the magnificent things it does without you having to lift a finger. 2. Instead of beating yourself up when you've eaten something you think you shouldn't have, begin to practice the art of soothing yourself. 3. Take a look at your beliefs and see what adjustments need to be made. Ask yourself, which beliefs are in alignment with your desires and which ones are counterproductive? 4. You can't appreciate your food choices and judge them at the same time, so why not practice appreciating your food more? In so doing, you'll keep raising your vibration on the topic. 5. Forget about what happened yesterday. Every day is a brand new opportunity to start fresh. 6. Be open. Look for new ways to feel better. Discover new methods and habits to connect with your inner being so you can follow the path of least resistance. 7. Find things you love to do and do them. 8. You don't have to know the whole plan. Just take it one guided step at a time. 9. Don't force anything. 10. Have things to look forward to. It keeps you vibing high. I hope you enjoyed my interview with Nicole Hale, an elementary school administrator who lives on the shores of Lake Ontario, just outside of Toronto, Canada. You can connect with Nicole on Facebook. Just search for her by name. Make sure to join me and thousands of other delicious aligners in my Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/delicious-alignment. Say that 3 times fast. Next, find all the links mentioned in this podcast at delicious-alignment.com/podcast, including lots of resources we have for you. Also, I want to let you know that I've got wonderful guests lined up for you in the coming months with people who have used the law of attraction to love their bodies and finally discover food freedom. I'm also going to add interviews with people who have used the law of attraction to create abundance and wealth in their lives. Exciting stuff, so make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or follow us on Spotify. Do you know someone who could benefit from this message? If so, please help me spread the word by sharing about this podcast on Instagram. posting on Facebook, or texting the link deliciousalignment.com/podcast to a friend who might benefit from getting in on this conversation. Make sure to tag me when you share so I can say hi. Thanks again for listening. I love hearing how this podcast is making a difference in your life. So don't be shy. Reach out to me. Till next time, remember, everything is always working out for us.